Hey everybody, it's Settlewin Sage, and welcome back to Let's Play A Kiss for the Petals, Maidens of Michael. In the last episode, we finished up on Mai and Reo's route, putting yet another route behind us. And in this episode, well, we're going to be beginning on to the next route. And yeah, it's been a little while since I've done a bit of Petal stuff. I think it's been about 2 weeks at this point. The only thing I can really say to that is, you know, got a little busy, got a little, had some other priorities come in. And I also kind of wanted to take a break from the series before diving straight into the next route. So, yeah. I honestly thought I had a few more videos in the back burner than I thought, so I didn't mean for this route to go on for as long as it did. But, yeah, I'm back now and ready to continue. And honestly, really excited to keep going. So yeah. Anyway, let's you know, start a new game and get to it. That being said, while I'm kind of going on to this, actually, I think I want to return to the title screen and actually talk about this. And that is, first off, who we're going after and what I kind of, maybe some hopes or expectations from it. Well, basically in this episode, the route we're going to be starting is Eris and Shizuku's route. So yeah, basically once again, going down the line, doing them, you know, in the order they were basically presented in. And, well, what hope or expectations do I have? Honestly, I'm really excited for this route. First off, I know next to nothing about this route. Actually, I basically know nothing at all about this route. Never read the stories, you know. My knowledge on the couple is really limited to this game, so this is going to be a very interesting experience for me. For a lot of people, this would be the first time, or for a lot of Western players, this will be the first time meeting a lot of these couples. Me reading some of the previous stories due to fan translations, I never quite had that experience, but I now will kind of have that experience, kind of experiencing the route through the game that a lot of Western people are going to be introduced to the route too. So yeah, I've not read a single one of the previous stories for Eris and Shizuku. So again, a lot of first experiences, a lot of references I'm likely going to be missing, and all that fun stuff. Anyway, that being said, hopes or expectations. Honestly, and aside from what I mentioned before, I'm really excited about this. Eris's kind of inclusion in Mai and Reo's route definitely helped sell me on it, but something about Eris and Shizuku's route always intrigued me, even back when I was just reading fan translations. I just never got around to them because I was playing the games in order at the time, and they're kind of show up a little later down the road. When this game came around, my original plan was to binge read the entire series, just kind of on my own time. That didn't pan out so well. I only got as far as to, you know, complete Mai and Reo and Sarah and Kaide, all of Sarah and Kaide's stories. So yeah, I plan to, you know, go back to the other ones later, maybe do Let's Plays of those, but yeah, something about how Eris and Shizuku interacted always intrigued me, and so now I'm going to kind of see more on that. I'm really excited, though I don't have too high expectations. I just kind of, I guess they're standard, kind of like, I expect this to be a pretty good couple, at the very least, and I imagine it has potential to, to pass maybe a few other couples on the list. So yeah. Anyway, while the title theme loops for an entire second time with my rambling, let's actually get this route started. Also, since I don't know who the point of view character is, I'm going to take a guess, and my guess is that it's likely Shizuku. Shizuku does seem like she'd be the POV character. It'd be really interesting if it was someone like Eris. We'd have another, like, Mai and Reo situation where and I never remember the names for the tropes. I always get them mixed up, so I'm gonna take a guess. Taichi. You know, having Eris, you know, kind of, you know, who I imagine Eris is the perv character of the two. We've seen that in their interactions. She's definitely the I believe, again, I believe it's Taichi. I could be wrong. And that'd be an interesting sort of point of view, and Eris is an interesting character, but yeah. I imagine it is Shizuku kind of following trends. And I also am just, something I'm also looking forward to is Eris and Shizuku seem like very interesting characters, and we've seen a lot of Eris through Mai and Reo's route, and Eris was also a bit more talkative than Shizuku, I believe, in all the other routes. So, yeah. There's a lot to look forward to, and again, also first, third year couple, so maybe that makes things different. But yeah, that's kind of basically it. So yeah, not only I'm interested in both characters, how they interact as a couple, I'm interested in both characters individually. I feel like I have a grasp on how Eris is, but Shizuku's still a bit of a wild card for me. Maybe wild card, not the right word, probably mystery's the better word, actually. So yeah, anyway, let's jump right into it.
日本のクリスマスって恋人同士で過ごすんでしょ、しずく。
必ずしもそうとは限りませんが。
じゃあしずくは他の誰かと過ごしたいのかな。
もう意地悪なこと言わないでください。私が共に過ごしたい方は決まっています。
誰？
もうエリスです。
私もしずくとクリスマスを過ごす。
Yeah, honestly, stuff like that too, kind of interesting because because that's something else. Like Shizuku actually holds her ground against Eris rather well and can actually even rein Eris in. And there's also again the cultural dynamic that I forgot to mention, which it was what the big thing I did know about this couple. Eris is, I can't remember, I think she's half European? I can't remember if she's half or full European. But, she's primarily, she's asking a lot of these questions about Japan because she never grew up here. She grew up in Europe, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's her story. Don't quote me on this. I have a barely grasp on that. So, from what I understand, Eris is kind of, the transfer student, which also fits with her trope quite well, but yeah. Eris is, actually no, not really that. The transfer student varies very much actually. No, she's a transfer student, but she also doesn't know, like, she's not too knowledgeable about Japan for in contrast to Shizuku, who from what I understand is very much wrapped up in traditional Japanese culture. She's very traditional. So I bet there's some kind of interesting things there. So yeah, that's a lot of stuff that I feel we can look forward to, and time to skip this scene that always continues to frustrate me because seriously, why play the entire Christmas event? The entire event before moving on to the character of interest. We've seen this stuff before, so yeah, I was wondering about that. Like, why go through the entire Christmas event? Honestly, wow, this house is really beautiful. Also, I'm going to bet straight up that this is Shizuku's place. Yeah, it looks like it looks fairly, it looks, from my understanding of Japanese stuff, it looks fairly, fairly traditional. I think there's the table in the center with the chairs incredibly close to the ground. I don't know if you call those pillows or if there's an actual word for them, but yeah. The really beautiful art, that clock back there looks absolutely stunning. Like, yeah, I really like something like this. It's simplistic, but it's, also feels very open. Partly, I guess, because of the windows that make up the large windows that. Basically, the large windows that vaguely resemble doors. I mean, I know it's the other way around, but yeah. Yeah. All right, traditional Japanese. This is Shizuku. But you know, I'm really, you know, I'm kind of excited for about it because again, I kind of want to learn more about Shizuku.
でも今年は違いました。
And again, Shizuku with the very, with the, I believe kimono as her casual clothes, which, you know, with something she said before about how her traditional Japanese clothes really stands out, that makes more sense. You know, this is one of these things where, you know, reading the past stories, I might have understood this better, but you know, that's part of the experience. And I'm pretty sure this is a kimono. Someone pointed out in the comments when I asked all the way back in, I believe, part 13. Or 14. It was the episode before the bath scene episode. When I asked about that, I think someone said, you know, one's, you know, is I believe like the kind of like the, I believe like what they're used for, like I think it's kimonos that are warmer. You know, I think they're like bigger too or something like that. Where yukatas are like lighter. I think heavier might have been the word they used for kimonos. Where yukatas are lighter, you know, more for summer. So yeah. Anyway.
「クリスマスの準備とっても楽しかったです。 イベントは大成功。皆さんとても喜んでくれていたみたいです。
Yeah, you know, despite us just seeing that scene, even though we blazed through the siege, yeah, I forgot Shizuku was one of the Santas, actually. That's very interesting. I don't remember if Kaide brought up her dressing as Santa for the Christmas event, but that's an interesting little touch. You know, the character's just outright mentioning it.
Hi, お待たせしました。
しずくすっごいごちそうだね。
クリスマスですし、気合い入れて作りました。
しずくにしては珍しく、すべて洋風なんだね。
そうですね。 たまにはこういうのもいいかと思いまして。クリスマスは西洋のお祭りですから。
私はしずくの作ってくれたものなら何でも嬉しいよ。
エリス、ありがとう。
じゃあ早速食べよう。いただきまーす。
はい、いただきます。
Also, by the way, yeah, I noticed this quite a while, but now it's actually becoming apparent to me. So they're kind of, the way they refer to each other is just by using their first name. I mean, it's fairly you know, fairly traditional. Makes sense to me. Most of the couples just do that. So yeah, they're following the trend. Now that I think about it, Yuna and Nanami might be the only ones that don't. Runa and Takako maybe. I know Runa refers to Takako as sensei, but that's also just she's been in front of other people, so I don't know if she refers to Takako as sensei when it's just the two of them. But yeah. Wait, what? Okay, let's see. I feel like we're maybe skipping a few steps there from... Okay, so, okay. Eris was an exchange student at St. Michael's. She had confessed her love for me, suddenly making my heart flow. I feel like there's like a branch of time in between. or was this just another really very much a love at first sight thing? I can imagine it going either way with the series. Alright, so I imagine what you said before about sometimes being, you know, jealous or anxious. I imagine that's the crux of some of their stories. Maybe perhaps more their second story than their first, where the first story is probably about them getting together. But yeah, I can see it, and you know, I can imagine Eris, you know, someone who draws attention. She has her own fan club for crying out loud, and you know, Shizuku, who kind of like Kaide in a way, seems to just really not like large crowds. So yeah.
そう言ってもらえると嬉しいです。
Oh, I just noticed, Adley, Eris is wearing a necklace. Her hands over her, you know, her hands kind of over it right now, but you can still kind of see it actually.
Ichigoのケーキだね。かわいい。
本当ならケーキも手作りしたかったのですが、
クリスマスイベントの準備で忙しかったんだもの。さっきのごちそうだけで十分だよ。ありがとう、しずく。
エリス。すぐにケーキを切り分けますね。
ストップ、しずく。
え？どうしたのですか、エリス？
Okay. You know, I've always, you know, I have a weakness for this kind of the flustered expression. You know, I always find it very, very cute, and these CGs help amplify that. The look on Shizuku's face right now is honestly one of the cutest things I've seen in a while. Just that just the nervous kind of expression, the sweat drops, and just how her mouth is just kind of a bit of a squiggly line, like she's almost. It almost seems I can almost kind of like tell she's likely be trembling, but it all just kind of like it all kind of resonates well with me. And of course, there's Eris, who just I'm like is likely doing this on purpose just to get a reaction out of her. But Eris has a pretty cute, happy face too. I love the chibi stuff like this.
二人で一緒にやろうよ。
これでは
ウェディングケーキ入刀のリハーサルだよ。やってみようよ、しずく。
はい。
ちょっと曲がっちゃったけどいいよね。さて、リハーサルも済んだことだし、これで私たちいつでも式が挙げられるね。
式って何を言ってるんですか？
だって私たち婚約しているんじゃなかった？
I'm going to imagine it's a reference. Still lost. I was like, why is she like because he made the wedding cake comment earlier. It's like that's a really casual drop of marriage. But I was more surprised Shizuku didn't react even worse didn't like have a reaction to it. She just kind of clammed up. It's just all right then.
それはそうですけど。
Wait, what?
だって私たち婚約しているんじゃなかった？
Thought the two of us were engaged.
それはそう
That's
ですけど。
true, but they're engaged? What? Like, is this an actual thing, or is the game just pulling my leg here? I can believe both, and like, I'm kind of shocked, little bit fangirling, but I guess you still call it fangirling. I was like, fanboying? No, like, context, please. This is kind of like okay. Minor meltdown. What's happening? It's so. Just the thought of this seems so adorable for some reason. I can't handle it. But they're actually engaged. Wow. Just not have saw that coming. Oh, there's another kind of angle of Eris's necklace. Is that a cross necklace, actually? I can see it being that way.
式はもう少し先で。
I'm not gonna get over this. No, just the thought of it seems too cute. And given Eris and Shizuku's personalities, I imagine if there was an actual scene of this would, whatever story this is, it'd actually be pretty funny, I imagine. But I can't deal for some reason. What? Kind of freaking out right now in all the bestest ways possible.
私は早くしたいんだけどな。雫だったら和服でもドレスでもどっちも似合いそう。あ、二つ着るのがいいね。
Oh wait, is what she's wearing right now not a kimono? Also, a wedding dress and a kimono. I imagine because I think I heard kimonos are like an actual bitch to put on. So it's like, and I heard wedding dresses aren't the easiest thing to get in the world to get into either. So I can imagine just a yukata, a kimono and a wedding dress is like literal hell on earth.
ケーキ食べないんですか？
今はそれより雫の。
今日はクリスマスです。クリスマスケーキを食べるのが最優先です。
That doesn't get any more blunt than that, huh? Yeah, not really. Mine makes a similar comment about saying how she in Risa and Mia's rat at one point. I think it was episode 10. But at that point, she says she just like she wants to eat Reo and is like, she says it in kind of a flirty way and less creepy than how it probably sounds when I say it. But you could maybe take that a few ways, I guess. But it's like, I'm sorry, there is only one way to actually interpret this line. Like let's be real, only one way to actually interpret that line. It leaves very little to the imagination.
今日はクリスマスです。クリスマスケーキを食べるのが最優先です。
Also, yes, I let that line run again because I just like the way Shizuku says Christmas cake. I know it's kind of a thing, and you know, it's nowhere near as funny than when I first started listening to just Japanese dubs of things. But when they just occasionally like break out into English, it's rather funny.
わかったわ。だからお皿持ったままそんなに迫ってこないで。
You don't have to come at me with the plates like that.
ではすぐに紅茶を入れますから。
たまに雫って怖いよね。
Okay, yeah, and that like Eris' comment, like Shizuku can be pretty scary sometimes. Like that's another reason like I'm looking forward to this. It's like it's very clear that Eris, I mean not Eris, it's that Shizuku's, you know, the shy one in the relationship, you know, she's the shy kind of reserved one in the relationship, and you know, she was saying this right now, she doesn't work well in large crowds. She was actually just losing her her mind pretty fiercely right just a second ago with you know, cutting the cake, and now she's actually just kind of took in control of things for right now, and you know, that's interesting. I kind of want to see more of that, you know. It's kind of like a little bit like what Kaede does sometimes, where Kaede never really takes control of the situation, but you know, she can go with Sarah's flow pretty well. But like this is, I feel, a bit more interesting.
何か言いました？
なんでも。あ、このケーキ美味しい。
よかったです。ケーキ屋さんはあまり詳しくないので、マイさんに教えてもらった店で予約したんです。
雫と舞さんって結構仲がいいんだね。二人とも髪型も似てるし。
髪型ですか。
Yeah, for example, yeah, Shizuku's hair is much longer for starters, but it is kind of, I think bobbed, I think is the right word. I think like, it's kind of like somewhat bobbed. And I think, now that I think about it, you know, Eris comparing the two, that I think reminds me of something else I see a lot. I'll see a lot of like, sometimes like similarities pulled between like in fan art and stuff like that, with like similarities pulled between Mai and Shizuku and Ryo and Eris, and you know, it's kind of interesting because, you know, they like design wise you could say they're relatively similar. It's more apparent with Shizuku and Mai than it is with Ryo and Eris, because like, but you know, one's black haired, one's, you know, blonde hair, and you know, so I think some people like to point out little like you know, kind of similarities like that. So yeah, and also like, you know, the black-haired person, the blonde-haired person are a couple. I've seen that. I think I've seen that similarity pulled a few times. So it's kind of interesting that the game even kind of brings it up. Then again, it might be the games that do the comparisons. I don't know if it's a game thing or a thing with the fans.
それにしてもクリスマスイベントすごかったよね。
ええ、準備は大変でしたが、とても楽しかったですね。
日本でこんなに楽しいクリスマスが過ごせるなんて全然思わなかったよ。それに何です？やっぱり雫と一緒なのが一番楽しい原因だよ。
エリス、私もです。
雫、今日はすごい素直だね。でも そういう雫は可愛くて私は大好きだよ。ごちそうさまでした。
あ、エリス、お茶のおかわりは？
もういいわ。夜にカフェイン取りすぎるのもあまり良くないでしょ。
そうでしたね。でも自分からそんなこと言うなんて。
何ブツブツ言ってるの、しずくん。
なんでもありません。
変なしずく。じゃあお腹いっぱいだし、私そろそろ帰るね。
Ah, man, this is adorable. If partly because she know Eris knows, and that's part of the reason she's doing it. But it's an interesting kind of perspective on things. It's at least because, let's be honest, we all know what they're talking about. But it's kind of very interesting because we had this scene with Yuna and Nanami once, and I think I made a comment where it's like the time Yuna is the most teasing is the time where she's the time where Yuna is the most teasing is the time where she's playing it the most innocent. It's like we're having a very similar situation here, but I also like it from kind of like Shizuku's angle, because I don't know if it's a common thing, but like right now what it is for her is that, you know, she's not like denying wanting to do that stuff with Eris. Again, I don't know if this is common. It may as well not be. It may very well not be. But she's not denying that side. She's not like denying that side of herself, or you know, like she wants to do it, but it's her just kind of natural shyness that's stopping her. Where with quite a few other characters, it was like, you know, generally putting up a little, with other characters of Shizuku's trope, you know, there's a bit of, you know, putting up a bit of resistance, because, you know, the people like Eris's trope, you know, like they're more dominant and take charge. Here, there's not really much resistance. It's just she's too shy to actually just ask, and I like that. I feel like, you know, like being too shy to say what's on your mind is like a very relatable. It's like a very relatable thing. So yeah.
何？どうかしたの？
エリス。
Okay, so we got a choice. But you know, that's another, you know, that's something, you know, I do kind of like. I also like how, you know, she's trying to you know, she's trying to overcome that shyness right now. It's again also, you know, very relatable stuff going on. So, you know, there's, you know, I want to spend tonight with you, and since tonight is, excuse me, and since tonight is Christmas, this is the blunt answer. This is probably the more subtle answer. Something tells me this one's gonna be funnier. But I want to go with it. I kind of want to go with it first.
今夜はそのクリスマスだから。
そうだよね。
ですからそのですね、一緒に。
一緒に？一緒に何なのしずくん。
一緒にサンタさんを待ちませんか？
Yes, we should wait up for Santa together. Oh man, and this is like, these are like the oldest characters, and from what I've seen, the most mature characters. They're like 18, 19-ish or so. It's like, yeah, let's wait for Santa together. Things I'd never expect out of a third year, I guess. Things I'd never expect a third year to say. I was at such a loss for words, I couldn't believe what I was saying.
Santa さんならもう私のところに来たよ。
She's going with it.
しずくがサンタさんやってくれたでしょ。すっごく可愛かったよ。
エリス、もうダメ、我慢できません。今夜はエリスと一緒にいたいです。帰らないでください。
やっと聞けた。嬉しいよ、しずく。私、しずくに引き止めてほしかったの。
エリス、も
う。意地悪してごめんね、しずく。
Okay, I accidentally loaded that too quickly, but time to load the save. How did that go from so funny to so incredibly sweet? Like snap, just like that. Like seriously.
今夜は一緒にエリスと一緒に過ごしたいです。
しずく、私もだよ。しずくから言ってくれて嬉しい。帰るわけないよ。今日は絶対帰りたくない。朝までしずくと一緒にいたい。
エリス、
しずくったら泣いてるの？
違います。
私と一緒にいられて嬉し涙なんだね。本当にしずくって可愛い。今夜はいっぱい可愛がってあげるから。
はい。
Alright, so it does change up to that point. So time to load the second thing, because the second thing for one feels more realistic to me, but I don't have much reference with this couple, so I could be dead or wrong. And that second thing somehow managed to be so funny, then so like sweet in the cheesiest way possible, but it somehow manages to make it work. Seriously. I love the writing of this series so much.
雫、素敵なクリスマスありがとう。
こちらこそ。こんなクリスマス私初めてです。
そういえばプレゼント何も用意してなくてごめんね。
いいえ、もうもらいましたわ。
何もあげてないけど。
こうしてエリスに出会えたのが神様が私にくれた一番のクリスマスプレゼントです。エリス、ひょっとして寝てしまったのですか？来年もまたエリスと一緒のクリスマスを過ごせたらどんなにいいことでしょう。
That was extremely adorable. A new year, a new dream. Alright, that's something to look forward to. So yeah, I think we can end things off here. Pretty slow, well, not slow, but feels kind of shortish, kind of, even though it's 41 minutes, but we got through the whole Christmas. We got through the entirety of Christmas in this event, so this feels like a really good place to cap it off. So yeah, I'm going to end things off here. Next time on Let's Play, Kiss for the Petals, Maidens of Michaels, Eris and Shizuku's route. We'll keep going on with Eris and Shizuku's route. Really, there's no other way to say it, I guess. So, yeah. See you guys then.